I wanted to talk about one of the reasons why people may have a judgment or a negative image of someone that I think is dumb. One of the dumb reasons. And this is about debts. Okay? This is about debts. I'm going to give you a little scenario to kind of help you guys out. Let me explain. There are some people in this world that have problems expressing themselves. Period. They haven't sat down with themselves. They haven't set boundaries with themselves. They haven't looked at themselves. So when they start getting involved in relationships with other people, there's going to be some confusion, and there's going to be, it's just not going to be a fulfilling relationship because they're not fulfilled within themselves. They might have communication problems. They might have, issues with taking care of their responsibilities in a relationship, so on and so forth. So because of that, they misinterpret things and misinterpret how they should treat people. And there may be a time that they might have some negative feelings against someone, but instead of addressing the real truth, they'll come up with a whole bunch of bullshit reasons not to deal with that person instead of addressing the real issue at hand. And one of those reasons might be debt collectors. I know a couple of people in my family have a fit anytime somebody calls them about a debt that somebody that they know owes. They automatically assume that that person put their name on paperwork for the loan or whatever, or the account or whatever. And of course, when you don't pay on the loan or the account, they'll look at the paperwork and they see, oh, well, you got such and such name down as a reference. They'll start calling the references looking for the money. It's their job. Ain't mad at them. But the thing is, there are some people that literally fly off the handle when a debt collector calls them about somebody else. Now, why do you think that is? I don't fly off the handle when people call me about somebody else's debt. I just very politely let them know, hey, look, we don't live together or anything like that. That person's not available. In most cases, we're not even in the same city. But I let them know that person's not available. I relay the message, and I leave it at that. Now, if it's a situation where that debt collector keeps calling me on a regular basis after I done told their crazy asses the first time that person's not involved with me, then it's no longer a problem with that person. It's a problem with Deanna. And, there are laws against that. You can't keep calling a third party over the same thing over and over again. There are laws against that. There are consumer laws. You could be protected. So what I'll do is when I see that series of numbers come up or whatever the case, I'll just block them. So I won't have to see them anymore. I don't get upset or frustrated because I'm going to tell you guys the truth. Believe it or not, there are people that have bills in this world that are past due. Yeah. And you know what? The reason why they're past due may not be just because they don't want to pay them. Maybe they can't. Yeah. See, it could have been a situation where back in the day, they could have had the income to take care of what they needed to take care of, but because of a job loss, it's not their fault, or illness, or whatever the case may be, they could have fallen behind, and their bill had to be past due and had to go to collections for some reason. See, they could have been trying to pay their bills. And see, this is the part that a lot of y'all hotheads are missing. They could have been trying to pay their bills, but they could have lost their job to the pandemic, okay? And when they were able to get another position, it's probably just less than half of what they were making before, so they got a little bit behind. See, these people are more focused on trying to survive and take care of their basic needs like food and shelter and transportation and a paycheck to take care of their monthly bills where they live instead of worrying about a past due bill for some furniture. Priorities. So when these people decide to do what they are paid to do, and that is call everybody on the list, and then when they run out of people on that list, what they'll do is they'll go through these bogus sites that claim that they could give you all the information that you need about this person you want to research for $39.99 a month. Then what they'll do, they'll go ahead and use one of these services, and they'll pull up your name, and anybody who is associated with you, get their information and call them. Did you know that? Did you know that? Believe it or not, I have debts. There are some people who do have debts. And I lost my job to the pandemic, and it was good paying one, I ain't gonna lie. Yes, I do have a position now, and I do enjoy the position, but truth be told, I'm making less than half than what I was making before I lost my job 2 years ago. I'm putting the truth out there right now, people. I'm making less than half. So even though I did get the assistance when, we got the pandemic boost for unemployment, I couldn't afford to go squander it. I couldn't afford. I would do a little something here and there, but I couldn't afford to squander it because I didn't know at that time when I was going to get another job. So I tried to pay off what I could pay off when I was here. And there were some things that I just couldn't take care of when it was time for me to go back to work because I looked at the fact that, hey, I'm making less than what I was making before. So yeah, I have some bills. But that's why I'm doing these other things on the side, because I'm on the path to financial freedom and I'm paying those bills. And the reason why I'm saying this right now, people, is because I don't want to give anybody the false impression that I'm balling out of control or anything like that. I'm doing this thing every day just like you guys. And I'm trying to do the best I can. And what you do is you have to prioritize what's necessary. You're not going to sit here with an empty refrigerator just so you could pay a furniture bill. If they got to call, if the collections people got to call for another month or so till you can get back on your feet, then they'll just have to call some people. But the people who are the recipients of these calls, I'm going to tell you something. They ain't got no damn common sense flying off the handle. They don't. First of all, it's not their debt. So what difference does it make to them who calls them about anything? And also, these people have debts of their own, but they're projecting this image like everything is perfect. That's part of the problem. So they'll rather sit up there and dump on you, knowing full damn well they probably have just as many debts as you do, if not more. So they're going to pass judgment on you. I've seen people in families where I've literally heard people say, I'm not talking to my cousin anymore because she had debt to collectors for call me. If them folks ain't calling you every minute on the hour, every hour of the day, every day of the week, you're going to sever a relationship with a human being that you are tied to for life. I know this sounds dumb, right? You're going to sever a relationship with a person that you have blood ties to for life because a debt collector called you about some money they owed. Y'all see how stupid this is? Their approach is totally dumb. Let me tell you the right way to handle this, okay? Debt collector calls you, they got your name from somewhere, which doesn't matter, and say, okay, your brother owes money for this, this, and this. You and your brother live 1,000 miles apart. You talk to each other maybe once or twice a week. Hey, how you doing, that type of thing. And a debt collector calls looking for some money. First of all, you're not going to give them any money over the phone. I mean, nobody's going to do that. Okay? You let them know that they're not, that you don't know where they are or anything like that, and they're not available, but you can relay the message. That's what you do. I'll let them know you called. Period. They hang up the phone. So you call them later on and say, look, this is the right way to do it now. Hey, bro, hey, how you doing? I don't know who these people are, but they're such and such and such, and they called in regards to a bill or something. I don't know what it is, but you might want to, here's the number. You might want to give them a call back. Now, I'm going to tell you what their reaction would be if you just very politely said that. First of all, they're going to say, okay, well, thanks a lot, sis, so-and-so. And then they're going to tell you the reason why they have the debt. And 9 times out of 10, it's not what you think it is. Maybe they couldn't pay the debt at that time because it was the first of the month and they barely had enough rent. Maybe they had a layoff at their job that you didn't know about, but they were just trying to make it. Maybe they had an unexpected medical bill that they needed to take care of and they couldn't pay the bill on time. You don't know. But that opens up the door for them to tell you what's going on. And then once they tell you and you have the resources, you'll be like, darn, I didn't realize you were going through that. Do you need any help? I mean, I'm going to give what I can to kind of help you out with that. But I didn't know you were doing that, going through that. You didn't say anything. A lot of people don't want to say anything off the rip because they want to try to handle it themselves. The responsible ones do. But that's an adult conversation, okay? So let me tell you the childish conversation, okay? I told you the good conversation to have, okay? Bill collector calls you. You say they're not available, but I'll give them your information. And then later on you tell them, okay, such and such called. Here it is. In a nice welcoming tone. And then more than likely that person tells you what's going on. You have a dialogue. You talk about it. Maybe you come into a solution. That's what adults do. That's the right way, okay, people? Let me tell you the wrong way that some of y'all jackasses are doing, okay? The wrong way. Oh, such and such and such and such, debt collector, da-da-da-da-da. I'm trying to get in contact with so-and-so. Okay, what you calling me for? Well, because they owe such and such a... Well, I don't understand why they have all these bills and da-da-da-da-da. They don't live here anymore and I ain't seen them in 20 years and da-da-da. But, okay, well, I'll let them know you called. Got an attitude off the rip. So you hang up the phone. Don't even wait 2 seconds. You pick up the phone. Well, such and such call here. What you need to do is you need to go ahead and pay your bills because you a grown-ass person and da-da-da-da-da. And I don't need to have nobody calling here, over here trying to talk to me about no bills and da-da-da. Now, what kind of response you think you're going to get from that person by acting like that? You think they're going to open up to you and tell you what's going on in their life? You think they're going to even want to communicate with you after that? Now, mind you, this is somebody you got a blood tie with. You sitting up there whining about bills that they owe. Now, they're the one that's under the pressure. They're the ones that's suffering financially. But you want to sit there and you want to pass judgment on something instead of using the common sense and thinking, man, they must be having some financial problems. Let me see if I can help them. No, your ass want to sit there and you want to twist the knife in their back. You don't know what they were going through to make for that bill to get behind. And after the bill is paid and everything else, do you think that person's going to want to communicate with you anymore based on your attitude? No. They're going to start having good things happen in their life and they're not going to want to include you because they're going to think about how you treated them when they were going through something. And that's the point, people. It's about the delivery. So let me tell you, these sensitive people about these phone calls. Let me give you a word of advice since you're so sensitive about these phone calls. Number one, before you go flying off the handle about somebody else's debt, remember you got a pile of debt sitting somewhere yourself. Okay? Remember you got a pile of debt sitting somewhere yourself. You barely making it. And secondly, if you don't want to talk to these people and you don't recognize the answer, don't answer. Recognize the number, don't answer the phone, okay? Don't answer the phone. Let it go to voicemail, take the message down, and forward it, or you could throw it away. Do whatever the hell you want to do. It's your phone. But that's just not the way to go. You don't sit there and you sever a relationship with a human being because somebody else wants some money from them. It's not your place. If you don't know the whole story, what you do is you have a dialogue with that person maturely and ask them why it's going on. See, this all goes back to why again, people. Too many of y'all are flying off the handle over things and you don't even know why it occurred in the first place. And then when the dust settles and that thing or that event or whatever has been taken care of and long gone, now you got this divide in your relationship. I've heard grown people talk about how they don't talk to their relatives for years because a debt collector called. Or they were going through a period where they couldn't pay anybody. And a few debt collectors called. But because of that, their relationship is strained. So what you need to do is you need to ask these people the next time they say, well, I don't deal with so and so because debt collectors call me. You need to ask them, okay, well, if they had debts and they have financial problems, what did you do to help them during that time? You'll hear crickets. So for those of you who are running around here and you got a strained relationship over some money that was owed for a third party or something, what you need to do is sit down with that person and say, look, I notice that you got this debt going on and you got a lot of people that are calling folks about money. What's really going on with you? Show some genuine care and concern, because you might have the resources to help them, or if it's a situation with money management, help them with that. Show some help instead of judgment. And remember, before you do all that, you just make sure that you are totally financially clean yourself, because you don't know if that person already knows what you owe. I'm going to go ahead and say this and I'm going to let it go. Like I said before, I'm trying to do this just like everybody else. I'm trying to recover just like a whole bunch of other people. And it's not easy sometimes. It makes for some long days trying to build a hustle on the side, try to do a side business or a gig just to make up for debts that you have to pay. It takes a lot when your current income isn't enough. So it's understandable. But you got to do what you got to do. And there are some things that are going to fall behind when you're trying to go through the process. But at least you're making the effort to take care of it. So the last thing you need is, while you are trying to fix what's broken, is to have somebody come along and judge you while you're doing it. Either they need to pick up a shovel or a hammer and help fix it, or they need to shut up and leave you alone, because a lot of these people already have debts. I know a couple people right now that have that so-called attitude, but they don't like anybody calling out. But you know what? Guess what? Somebody's calling about them, because I've received a couple of calls about them same people who passed judgment on me. I still get calls every few months or so from a debt collector asking about them. But they don't know that. So don't be one of these foolish people. If you see somebody needs some help and they're acting out of character, some things are going in their life that's not right, don't fly off the handle and get angry because you don't understand what's going on. Be mature and talk to them. You might learn something. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. Peace.